Hi, I'm Aristotelis Pitaridis. In this video, we are going to demonstrate how to make Entity Framework to automatically update the database when we change the models of the project. In the migration method that we used in the previous video, we have to type various commands in the Package Manager console every time we make a change to our models. In order to avoid this procedure, we could enable the automatic migration. Let's create a new project for which we will apply the automatic migration. We create a new ASP.NET MVC project. We give the name Code First Automatic Migration to our project. We create a new model in our application. The name of the model will be Students. The first property is the student ID, which will be used as a primary key for the table that the Entity Framework is going to create. The next properties are the name and the surname of the student. In order to make Framework able to identify the model that we created, we have to build the application, so we right-click the name of the project and select the Build command. Now we are going to create the controller and the views for the model, so that we will be able to edit the contents of the data. We right-click the controllers folder and select the controller command from the Add submenu. The Add Scaffolding dialog box will appear on the screen with a list of different types of controllers that we can create. We select the MVC5 controller with views using Entity Framework option, and we click the Add button. The Add Controller dialog box will appear on the screen. From the Model Class dialog box, we select the name of our model, which is Student. The next information that we have to select is the data context class, which can be used to query from the database. There is one data context class with the name application DB context, which created in order to store the users and roles of the site. In order to create a new data context for our model, we click the New Data Context button on the right side of the drop-down list. The New Data Context dialog box will appear, and there is a text box where we can define the name of the new data context. We leave the Code First Automatic Migration .models in the beginning, which is going to be the namespace for the class, and we change the name of the class so that it will be MyDBContext, and we click the Add button. In order to finish the creation of the controller and the views, we have to click the Add button at the lower right corner of the dialog box. As we can see, there is a new controller in the controllers folder with the student's controller name. We also have a new class in the models folder, which is the data context class that the framework created for us. If we see the views folder, we will see that the framework created automatically 5 views in the students folder, which will be used in order to manage the data. Let's execute the application in order to see how it works. In order to use the students controller, we have to add it at the end of the page URL. The index action will display a link which will allow us to create a new student, and there is an empty list of students below the create new link. The list is empty because there is not any record in our database yet. Let's add a new record by clicking the create new link. The framework will display the create view, and the form will appear with the two of the three fields that we have in our model. In the name text box, I will type my name, which is Aristotelis. In the surname text box, I will type my surname, which is Pitaridis. When I click the Create button, a new record will be automatically inserted in the database, and the application will redirect to the index action in order to display the list of students. Let's add one more record. Now that we made it work, let's enable the automatic migration. In order to enable the automatic migration, we have to open the Tools menu and select the Package Manager console from the Library Package Manager submenu. The Package Manager console will open at the bottom of the screen. We type the command enable-migrations-context type name mydb context enable automatic migrations, and we press the enter key. This will have as a result to create a new folder in our project called Migrations, in which one class will be created. The configuration class has a constructor which initializes the class. It has set the automatic migrations enabled property to true, so that the application will automatically update the database. We also need to add one line of code that we will allow the automatic migration to data loss. In order to do it, we type automatic migration data loss allowed is equal to true. This will allow us to make changes will have as a result to lose data. For example, we will be able to delete a property from the model, and the equivalent field will be deleted from the database. Now we have to write code which will check if there is a model change every time that our application starts. In order to make it, we have to open the global AJAX file and add a suitable command in order to make the check. In the beginning of the application start member function, I will paste the command which will set a new migrate database to latest version initializer using the mydb context class in order to inform the framework which context we want to check, and we will also inform the framework about the migration configuration which will be used for the initializer. Now we open the student model and we add a new field with name age and type int. We run the application in order to see if the application will automatically upgrade the database. We go to the student's controller and we will see that the application does not crash. The system has seen that the database is not synchronized with the model, and it will make the synchronization, and after that it will display the page. Of course, we have to change the views so that the new field will appear in the various forms in order to have it fully implemented. We are not going to do it now because it can be done the same way we did in the previous video. Now that we have automatic migration, we can add more fields to the model or add new models to the data context, and Entity Framework will recognize them and update the database every time that a non-synchronized database will be identified.